So hi guys, today at BlockTalks we have another exciting guest who want to share his insights about Web3 legal systems, how they work, how people use them to manipulate things and all. So let's meet him and let's try to know him, try to know his journey and what failures he have faced or what sort of struggle he has faced from being from Kolkata and getting settled up in Dubai. Let's know our guest. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Shaswat, and firstly, thank you for having me over here. And I've been in the space for like last 6, 7 years, and the journey has been quite what I can in crypto world, ups and downs, and everything has been part of that journey. And I didn't start in crypto like at the starting phase. I was more interested into when I was doing the legal side, more in the data protections and data privacy at that side in 2018-19. But then RBI came down quite hard on that crypto trading ban and all that. Case went to Supreme Court, and at that time was kind of interning for a law firm, which fought for the case from the stakeholders of the crypto ecosystem, and that was my connection point for the first time. The Bitcoin white paper, what was that, and we needed to make understand the judiciary system first time in Indian Supreme Court. The what is Bitcoin? They didn't have a clue. Neither we have as a lawyer community had a clue, right? So, but then things got interesting from there on, and one opportunity came, and I started working for a US law firm named Fungibility Group, and it was California based. That time, USA was just churning out a lot of ICO projects, and we are doing the same, and we are advising and all that. Then suddenly, SEC started becoming too much stringent, and we started advising, hey, you go to offshore, you go to outside of USA to build your business and all that. And we started advising. I think Dubai is now the interesting part. It is in 2021-22. Just that time, the VARA and the regulatory ecosystem was going to start here. And then with my clients, I also moved here, right? And I started working for a crypto exchange named DIFX, which got rebranded into BitDelta. They are having a different exchanges ecosystem for different part of the jurisdictions. So for South Africa, they have a different exchange setup. For European ecosystem, they have a different. For UAE, they have a different structure, right? So then last year, I moved out of them because almost from a regulatory challenging point of view, things I completed most of the like objectives what we tried to achieve in 2.5 years. Now it was more of an operational scaling. So then I joined Three of Us Global, who is a multi-dimensional crypto digital assets technology company, which now holds a different facets of exchanges. One is retail exchange, which is going to get launched few within a few months, maybe 1 or 2 months. It will be a retail exchange coming from a Lithuania. We got license and everything. And another one is already we launched instiX Global, which is institutional market maker OTC exchange, where minimum we do trading of $100,000 per trade block size. We're currently trying to position its ACS Falconex or Wintermute. So we're trying to position it according to that. So yeah, that's been my journey. And here and there, lot because I've been in the ecosystem, there are a lot of startups founders friend who has gotten stuck in token projects, or they are building some DeFi lending protocol. Somebody is now building a NFT marketplace or somewhere another down the line, and helping them talking with regulatory from a policy point of view and drafting the stakeholder documents. So things have been mixed, a lot of different things, but that has been my journey quite a lot.
Cool, cool. So, Sashwat, you have been in this market from like 2017, 2018.
18, yeah, that would be precious.
At that time and now,
Mm-hmm.
what is the narrative which you think that time this was the thing, this was the hot cupcakes at that time, and now what's the scenario, what's the narrative? And by narrative, I mean from a Web3 investor point of view
Mm-hmm.
and as a Web3 founder.
Mm.
What are the two different narratives? Because
Right.
Web3 investor is looking for like quick gains and all,
Yep.
safety of funds, and there are too many things,
Yep.
you know them. And as a founder, they are looking to get audience, to get traction. And there are too many founders who are not building a product or solving a real problem. They are just creating another problem, and on top of
True.
it, they are creating a product. So what's your take on that, and how you see 2018 ICO crypto market versus today market, which has Web3, AI agents, all?
Yep. So very relevant question. 2018, 17 or 19, these 3 years, if we clap together, that time economically, just hearing crypto and Web3 was a very cool word, right? Not many investors had a very clarity. Neither founders had the clarity what they want to build. They went out to build some projects related to Web3 and crypto. Some are building just an exchange, just a token. Why I'm mentioning the just it? Because they didn't have the long vision that, okay, this is going to solve a very big issue of interoperability. This is going to solve a transaction speed, throughput, and this kind of things. Their main goal and agenda at that point of the founders was we need to build in something in Web3. An investor that, okay, my portfolio now having a lot of tech startups, fintech startups. Now I want to have certain exposure into crypto startups. So they didn't have that enough what I call proximate investment thesis to back it up for the Web3. And that time just Ethereum has been formed into a young adult who was growing and growing. And people found that is enough interesting. And they didn't go into the depth of Ethereum foundation and the layer one and L2s and all those concepts. So that time ICOs was more on people. It was just before the meme era, but it was more about the tokens which just have any kind of utility, not a utility which is solving any bigger problem of decentralization or centralization issues. So I think that was the one journey. Then 2020, 21 came the time when everything related to NFTs become a thing, right? OpenSea became big, all the punks and all the NFTs, people started going in, and that time IPs and a lot of art forms, a lot of these things, and authenticity, logistics, everything coming into some part of the NFTs. Then 22, and then things started going into the tokenization, real world assets. And that boom is still going on. But now I think the market has matured in a way where you cannot just build just a product. You need to have certain level of enough credibility on a base of what you want to build. You need to add layers. You need to add uh, enough justification why you are building it. Investors want to see your market size. Like that's how investor works, but that was not the philosophy in 2018 19. Now they'll see your SAM, TAM, they will understand that how much market you would going to capture, what the 5 years return. And I have seen the trend that before that, investors were happy to just get a token allocations, right? Now investors want to get into equity because they understood these companies when we are going to invest into Web3, I cannot get a quick bucks. I need to be the part of the project. I do not want to see the tokenomic side of things. If it's there, but I want to see more infra level projects which is coming up. So I think that transition of a maturity of the industry happened.
Got it. So being a Web3 lawyer,
Yep.
you have seen multiple ups and downs,
Yep.
multiple scams and all.
True.
So according to you, what are the top three crypto scams or Web3 scams which were pulled off, rigged the money, and if this was the thing which can be fixed or caught at right time, this will not happen. So let's
Right.
suppose FTX was that blah blah XYZ amount was rigged off, rug pull and all. So to save that amount, what could be done at that time?
Understood. I would give you a very good example what I give to founders and the regulators for the FTX specific scenario. When FTX happened, everybody shouted out, okay, now the crypto market is down, dying, and there are a lot of controversies come out that maybe this narrative we can follow. Maybe there is the Alameda Capitals was involved into different other things. Maybe only the SBF was not involved. Sam Altman has a lot of associates. Maybe it gone into USA election involved into a lot of conversation came into. But when I talk with the compliance veterans or I talk with the investigation and audit agencies who are working in that ecosystem, they said the red flags of FTX was very visibly seen before even 1 year of that event.
Okay.
Everybody knew who were very core rooted, deep rooted, and had that much of a power and credibility in the ecosystem. They knew, but nobody acted it out. Why is that? Because they didn't consider those as enough red flag to notify the community. They seen it, okay, it can happen. Maybe it's general consensus for Web3 ecosystem. Maybe it's not enough big of a flag to get flagged. So that I seen this conversation. Now what happened after the FTX happened? A lot of creditors lost money. But one country where the creditors got their money fast and they didn't lose, I think, single penny. It was in Japan. In Japan, 90% creditor got their whole FTX holdings within 30 days of the incident.
Really?
It's didn't got that enough narrative because Japan didn't make a huge uproar that we had a crypto regulations, but they had a very normal, sensible regulation at the very first start of the FTX. First, you need to create our Japan specific entity and our Japan specific domain. So FTX Japan was there. Then whole client assets, 90% of your assets need to be in the cold wallet. Simple, very simple solutions. And that cold wallet need to be kept into Japan only.
Got it.
So when it happened, Japan was very quick to act it. That hey, your assets is here.
So basically, laws were very simple.
Very simple, but very much effective without making a very huge uproar of complex regulations and all that.
Got it.
And the people saved. And opposite side, Singapore, which is very pro crypto and very stringent crypto regulation. A lot of different things we heard about. Monetary Authority Singapore, MAS getting have licensing framework. Tomorrow Ripple's announce license. All the coming exchanges and the platforms and all them, they announce that hey, we have a license from Singapore, means give that credibility in the market. But when FTX Singapore fall, no FTX Singapore creditor got their money back. The reason was they went to Singapore government and the regulator asking that, hey, FTX Singapore fall and they were operating from Singapore. So we should get the investor protections. Fair right, fair questions. But MA said, hey, they never take a regulation from there. They never taken license from us. So then why did that happen? They made their website just available there. So
Okay.
MAS asked the creditors, did they are offering their trading pairs in SGD, Singapore dollar?
Yeah.
They said no, they're giving in US dollar. Is they are giving any disclaimer, disclosures, or any kind of writing in Singaporean
So they find a loophole and they play
used
around it.
And the regulators went through that.
They can't
And
do anything.
yeah, if you can see in WazirX incident.
Yeah. So what's your take on WazirX?
Yeah.
Because it's related to India.
Yeah.
And being in India, we know the value of hard-earned money. So what's your take on that incident and the phase after that?
Yeah.
What's the impact on that?
I think I will be very blunt. On the note, WazirX failure happened. We understand. We can go into the founder's responsibility. We can call, okay, their moratorium planning in Singapore, 6 months, restructuring, why Knights will come and save them, a lot of different things, a lot of discussions. If we don't go there also, there are a big part we are missing. Incident happened within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, Twitter means X got flooded with the people commenting, Discord community got very agitated. Notably so, it's very fair for them. But what was the action and responsibility was taken by FIU? Nothing, right? They can say they came and they said, okay, we are just a reporting entity. We do not give investor protection. Fair enough from their side. But then why the mandate of getting FIU reporting? If only FIU is there to get a money laundering reporting like a banking standards, compliance standards, then these compliance standards should be coming to the cyber security compliance standards, but they don't make ensure of that. So then when you have 5, 6 top exchanges and top platforms operating from India, they have TVLs of 230 to 30, 300, 400, $1 billion for normal users volume. Then you cannot just take on the stand that I was just a reporting entity. My duty was not to take sure that investors should get protected.
So they backed off.
They backed off. And then the whole things came into the Singapore. They said that this is the offshore entity, this way is structuring. So once that's I told each founder, once one big mistake happened from the founder side and from the investor side, once big mistake happened, there is nothing you can do to take it back. Once it's happened, it happens. And that's why this disclaimers are there. People should.
What's the impact like on a retail investor, like the investors who have invested $1,000, $1,500, or like us, like we have our faith on WazirX. We put our money and all, and this happens. So what's the impact on ground level of these sort of incidents?
Ground level reality is, firstly, if the exchange has and had and will have enough liquidity on their books, then they can at least stop the bleeding, help the users to get exit. That is the panic moment. First thing exchanges does, stop trading. Okay, that's fair enough. They stop withdrawals every time, because they don't want their platform to suffer that big. When already they have suffered $230 million hack, they cannot allow their users to go out. I think that's the opposite way you can take it approach. You become that time more transparent. You give them the exits. That way you build the trust in your host time. Your first priority is taking care of your users.
Yeah, but they
didn't. And I would not only blame them. No exchanges ever, when they face this magnitude of a backlash, this magnitude of hacking, or some kind of a issues, they never given users withdrawals rights. And more probably their lawyers suggested that. And maybe if I would be the situation, I don't know how I'll deal. Maybe I would also stop. I would also say no, company side of things, but that should not be the right approach. And see the Bybit incident. The $1.2 billion, it's not a joke. Maybe they have enough liquidity. That's how they allowed users to keep doing that. They made it up from their own chest. But then, if you do not have that much of your own liquidity to support in any kind of a worse circumstances, then you should not have that much of amount in your hot wallets. Be then 10 times extra secure, because you know that I cannot come out of this situation.
You need to be like prepared for these.
You need to be prepared. And I have seen, I will not take the name, some of the Indian major exchanges after this incident, they didn't support the whole occurrence. They taken a most milk out of this incident, if I can say.
How,
if we say so, pointing out somebody's an error is fine, but trying to help them really, that is, I think the ecosystem is very small. End of the day, we do not, the whole Web3 ecosystem in India will not be even 1/10 of the fintech industry. So when one person falls, you should be there to support the ecosystem at least. You should not be there at the situation to take, okay, maybe their users are leaving. I should be now taking the situation out of the control, and so that I am 10 times more protected. Yes, you can do it, that marketing, but I think that's not a collaborative effort the ecosystem deserves right now.
Cool. So these are all the centralized bodies, which have some sort of regulations.
True.
What about legalities which are involved in the case of DeFi, NFTs, like the products which are totally decentralized?
Right.
We don't know from which country the founder is. We don't know what's the
True.
Like there is nothing on the website, no rules, nothing like that. It's truly like a decentralized system which people are trusting.
True.
But this sort of thing or this sort of incident can happen any day with those also.
Absolutely.
So what are the rights for the users, and what are the like laws for founders who are running those protocols, DeFi protocols or exchanges or whatever you can call it, like DEX?
Understood.
So both the side. I want to know more about the legal rights of an investor who is doing transactions with a decentralized platform and the founder also.
Firstly, you need to understand, like as an investor, or you need to understand that really the platform is decentralized. Because what I feel today, if we go very technical, there are a very less decentralized projects exist. If even in L1 base layer, L2s, you can go as deep, but you'll find some stakeholders, right? You cannot go ultimate level where you'll find that okay, this project is completely decentralized, because that's not possible actually. If you think very in USA, they have invented one test. I think it was Harvard was doing through their one of the incubated legal cell. They're calling test of decentralization. What we also tried in LexDAO, tried to envision like 50-60 questions checklist, like that should be the criteria, but that also cannot be inclusive enough. And I'm not expecting the investors to understand those tests, but I'm just expecting that if the decentralized project has its own treasury, it has its own governance manuals, try to see how much the project founders still hold in their tokens, what you can see in the mantra.
Like any way to any tools to
So in that regard, the first way investors should look, like, just because see the wallets are publicly available. If you go into that wallet scanner from the Tron scanner or like PNB scanner, whichever the wallet exists, and you can get at least some idea. And if you go into the Discord and X, you will find that there are a lot of good investigators, lot of good social white hat hackers. You'll find a
so
lot of
let's
the people.
suppose you are a Web3 investor with a small amount of $500. What should be the ideal checklist from your point of view, which you will follow?
First, I'll not invest any money if I don't find their website white paper exists. At least I would understand this project is serious itself.
Cool. So website and white paper.
This can be the first one. I'm not asking them to go through the whole white paper. I'm trying to saying that exists at least.
Cool.
First. Second point, I'll see whom I can find as their so-called who started the project.
Cool.
Okay. Then I'll see the tokens maturity time point from the vesting schedules. I'll try to see if when they are going to say they're going to new token drops, I'll try to see if they're doing users whitelisting. I'll try to understand how much seriously the projects are taking in space, and also see if they have a very active community. Community sometimes can be very derailing for a project, or for an investor perspective. If the community exists and community sometimes become very harsh, so they will understand, they will direct some kind of a path. There is some kind of a governance framework which is ruling this whole project. So I think this can be a very simple ways to understand. Means it's just doing your own due diligence, trying to see if that project exists in its skeleton, or maybe in the air it's just a thin air, which is just a project come, and you will come to know it's a pump and dump. So that nobody wants to get caught into, right?
Cool. So this is all about your professional life.
Right.
Let's know you the personal side of yours.
Yeah, sure.
How things started, like what's the schooling, how you got into this Web3 law, and what's the life today, and what's your future plans?
Right. So I started not in a legal family, because in India there's a concept, your father is a lawyer, then your son is a lawyer, then the generational things come up. I come from a completely opposite side of spectrum. My father is a doctor. His father was a doctor, and his father was a doctor. So you can say it's a black sheep kind of situation.
Okay.
So first lawyer from a family, and who had no plans to study law. I grew up in a small town near Kolkata called Diamond Harbour. So there's nothing related to any kind of technology things going off. There, people's goal is to become either an engineer, doctor, or a school teacher, professor, or doing IAS and all that sort of things. So also was pursuing the medical examinations and all that sort of things for MBBS entrance exams, and things didn't go pretty well. I didn't. I was pursuing because all family was there, so it's got into motivated me. Maybe I'm good in that, but then I found that no, I was not is not good at all in class 11th and 12th, quite flanked in that. I was that time having, okay, I would be going into this technology space, but no, I am not from tech background, so should I even pursue that side? Then the legal fraternity come into my picture, that I found a course and degree that they're doing a BSc LLB, means from our first year of curriculum with LLB we had
Okay.
cyber forensics, your toxicology, all the forensics things. So then, first year of intensive, I went to Central Forensic Science Laboratory, Chandigarh. So that time they are doing this lot of the central government forensic case for bigger controversial rape cases.
That's in sector 30, I think. 30.
Yeah,
30.
yeah.
Yes.
So at that time, so then in second, third year, my pursuance come into the IP, intellectual property, and those side of law. Then data protection. So a lot of figuring out. Then I found come to now, okay, technology, innovations, and emerging technology all coagulate, and it comes to metaverse, AI, crypto. So all the right keywords are fitting in, and it has a connectivity with the law. But the biggest issue with starting in this ecosystem, the founders didn't believe that lawyers should be in this ecosystem at all, because for them we are going opposite of a governance, we are going opposite of central regulating body, we are
You are
going
trying to
opposite.
control.
Yeah, why lawyers are there? And for them, obviously they are the smartest people in the room, and for them these guys are enough dumb, they will not understand what we are talking about. But not only me, there are a lot of lawyers who understand this ecosystem, who has the faith in Web3 as ecosystem, who thinks that law and technology can sometimes be the bridge between. And I was last day on talking with one of my founder friends who's also coming in Token 2049 here. So he was mentioning the thing. I think that right now the legal and regulatory compliances are the moat for the companies, because already Web3 has scaled up, technology is developed. What is next target of this ecosystem? Next target is to getting it compliant so it can become the part of the mainstream. Without that, no, never that goal of 100 million users, never goal of 1 billion retail user going to part of this journey, because government will never going to allow something which doesn't have a regulatory node, a regulatory bridge to come between, and there the lawyers become the biggest part. So down the line, my plan is obviously scale our company instiX Global. We want to become the most compliant, most regulated institutional exchange. But after that, apart from that, I want to go on the journey of bringing all the legal fraternity here in UAE, in India, and the Asian economy to create something like LexDAO, which I was part of. It is completely US brain baby, and creating that ecosystem here, that where uh, we write legal policies, drafts, which moves in the pace of technology, because the crypto every moment it's shifting it up. Today we are talking about tokenization. Tomorrow we'll not be talking about that. Tomorrow the new problems it will be going to solve. But for that, the guardrails are not written today. And for the regulators who are coming from an ecosystem which was not Web3, for them it's very tough. but there need to be some lawyers or the policymaker who are the part of this ecosystem, who knows how things are moving. They come together, help the regulator to create these roads.
So, Shashwat, like this is whole like a discussion about work and all. So, what Shashwat loves in the free time, or
Yeah.
how we chill? Because see, in Web3 we chill around, we
24/7.
yeah, so we work 24/7 and we chill like 24/7. So, what's the like go-to strategy for like doing all this stuff?
I'm a avid photographer, so
Oh,
and traveler. So I have my Fujifilm X-T5 5.6 lenses. So that's my biggest investment. Monthly investments goes into there. So I have my gears. I go out. I have my action cameras and all the DJI and all those things, drones. So I go out. I go a little bit adventure sports. I go out trips, hiking.
any adventure trip which you want to share? Like
So
that like changed or motivated you to go more in depth?
right. So it happened last year, 2023.
Three.
Okay, 2023. Yeah. That time we are having Web3 conference in Goa. Okay,
Okay.
that Bharat Web3, I think something
Yes, yes,
conference
yes.
was happening. It's probably in August or
August, South
something. Yeah,
Goa.
South Goa. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I went there. I think most of us all
Yes, yes.
were
I was
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were there, had the conference done. Then I had a flight in Dubai within 3-4 days. Okay. And I thought, okay, I have a 3-4 days in here. So let's try to be be little bit exploration mode. So I rented one cycle, not bike, scooty, which is
Okay.
in the Goa thing. And I had my backpack and I went there almost each part of the Goa. Then I one day I just drove out and I had only my music. I was driving for like straight, I think 4-5 hours, and went to some unknown part. I didn't know if it's even Goa. I entered Maharashtra. That I didn't had no idea. So sometimes did I do the here also last year, like me and a few of my friends, we went out for like me and my this friend was also there. So we went out on a Saturday night like this in evening, and just when there and you go near Saudi border in
Okay.
Alain, and we didn't have any enough cold clothes. We did camping there, and we didn't have any camp gear also.
Cool.
So we just in front of the desert, we were just chilling, and also chilling in cold also because it's a very cold desert night. So sometimes we just go out without a plan, because as a legal and in crypto, founders and the investors and whole teams always expect me to be very structured. So sometimes it's better to be very unplanned
Yes.
and go
Be
out. So
free,
that
enjoy
kind
the
of a thing we
freedom.
do.
Cool. So, like being into Web3 space from
Yeah.
last 8 years, like from Diamond Harbour to Dubai, you have seen a lot. What's the like as a lawyer, you might get some signals this could happen, and like the current scenario, Donald Trump is trying to do some manipulation. There is Elon Musk, like he tweets, market moves.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on this? Like, you have invested your like time, money, everything to reach here, and these big peoples are like trying to manipulate, or I don't know what they want to
Achieve.
yeah. So how do you see this as a for you? Because you are trying to solve or achieve something, and these sort of distractions uh, push you to change your plans very like fast.
Yeah.
So how do you see these sort of like takes from Donald Trump or big industry leaders, or it could be any market scenario?
I think has not this been going on for last 200 years in the normal securities market also. Like when Warren Buffett writes his annual financial letter, market moves. When previously Steve Jobs comes on a presentation, this show is some new iPhone, iPod, iPad, Apple stocks moves. Fed Reserve's chairman, RBI chairmen come, they say we are cutting repo rates, we are doing this and that.
But
Market moves.
those things are planned, like pretty much planned. Apple event is there. The report will come at some day. But here, these incidents are like Elon Musk tweet. It can come anytime.
So there is this, I think, the part of the crypto, right? Here things move fast.
Yeah.
So here things move fast. In that sense, the end concept, if you just remove the planning and the timing of things, the core philosophy stays same. The strong people, the people who has some kind of a negates and some kind of a deep connectivity of the economical world, and it's morely has been with the West peoples. They moves, the economy moves. They move, the trade economy moves, and crypto here, things becoming extra volatile. Unfortunately or fortunately, that is much more fast and rapid. But I think this has been the part of the economy. Just, I think now, if tomorrow Elon Musk tweets again, I think the movement will become little slower. Next time he tweets, it will become little slower because the ecosystem also learning to learn
So
which
they
are
learn
which are the
from
right signals, which are the not right signals. Because even we are discussing this question, means we have come afar.
Yeah.
2 years back, we were just taking his words on words, right?
And how you plan the actions after these sort of incident, like because you need to move fast,
Right.
otherwise market will not be there. So you need to take the decision fast and make sure that after taking that decision you are backing it up so that it
I
makes
think
sense.
the decision should be had taken before that his tweets or some kind of this market movement. Means you should not keep all your eggs very simple in same basket. Keep it as fragmented as much as makes sense. And
So you should be ready,
you
like
should
this
be
can
ready
come.
because it's today's Musk's tweet. Tomorrow it can be XYZ different anything, right? And if we see just now what happened with Mantra's WEM token, it was nothing like this. It was a very technical movement which just caused that somebody saying the market makers loan positions drop. Somebody says somebody does. They are claiming centralized exchange on a low liquid weekend. They move the fund. There are a lot of claims, but the token suddenly got dropped. So now the first thing is you need to believe on the project you are investing in. If today I'm going to invest even $1 ABC, I should have enough idea why I'm invested in the first place. So tomorrow, if the project fundamentally is not moving, I should not get manipulated by some anybody. And today's the biggest issue in crypto. The KOLs are too big KOLs. Everybody hear them, everybody criticize them, but everybody listens them. So you need to do your due diligence. End of the day, if you are in this industry, you are enough intelligent to be in the industry. So do not
So
get
we
provoked by
discussed
somebody.
about the impact of KOLs.
Yeah.
What are the 3 or 4 KOLs
Yeah.
which a expert like you follows, or like sees, okay, this is a really good content?
Right. I would say from a very good how to engineer a project from a legal point of view, how to build a quality decentralized project. The good is Gabriel Shapiro. Uh, he goes by I think Lex Node or something, some in X. I follow his work. He was I think previously X16Jet's general counsel, and another person's I follow quite a lot. Uh, I'm not exactly remembering his name. He was a previously US Senate member. Now he has running his own consultancy firm. And most probably it's not about the whom you should follow. You should follow the person who
What
is
they
expert
are.
in their project. If tomorrow I started advising, you should believe on this project because I am saying so. You should understand if my backing should be legal backing. My backing should not be understanding of a fundamental chart analysis or understanding the candles. I am not expert of that. Or who is a trading expert? He should not come and say, I am seeing this mismatch of doing this. They coming on X or Discord in their community or Telegram community. They're saying, hey, I think their structure is very solid. Their governance is nothing. They do not have a regulatory licensing. That person is a finance expert. Why I need to listen that? I need to listen what he's saying if he has enough knowledge backing it up.
Got it. So Shashwat, let's discuss about the tools or
Yeah.
toolkit which you use on daily basis.
Yep.
To, like, let's suppose it could be wallets, it could be
Right.
extensions, it could be websites,
Mm-hmm.
it could be websites for productivity, it could be any
Right.
apps. So what should be like a ideal checklist or a checklist which you follow, like I use these apps?
So I'll say mostly the this kind of a due diligence come into picture when we are going to list a token. A lot of exchanges take listing very what I can call lightly, but it should be taken very seriously because you are exposing that to a bigger economy, your trusted users. So your vote of trust matters a lot. And that's why I also read Coinbase's, they have a 51 checklist of how to list the tokens. And obviously because we are growing and we are adding a lot of pointers for now, we also follow more or less the same standards for any kind of a tokens we follow. We try to go into the due diligence of the whole tokenomics side. For that tools specifically, we have our own in-house tool. We call it instiX OMS, instiX on-chain monitoring system, where it goes very deep below of from where exactly the first token movement started, that specific projects,
Got it.
who has how much percentage,
So you can
if
track
they
the
are,
whole journey.
who has, if that any sanctioned wallets connected, if anything's like that, and also getting analytics of what's that volatility of the tokens they have moved in, out, etc. So we try to do those cross analysis, and then end of the day in compliance side we follow the standards, KYB, KYC solutions for, and it's pretty bank standard. I think regulators and a lot of people still believe that it exchanges on the platform doesn't do, but nowadays I have seen lot of the times few of the EMIs, few of the payment gateway banking standards compliance are lower than the crypto platforms KYC KYB standard.
So you moved from India to
Yeah.
Dubai. Other than Dubai, what are the best countries for a founder or for an investor, like into crypto world?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, are the best as per you? Like, you can name three or four, and why?
Yeah. So if I'm talking about just an incorporation getting license and he not being there,
Cool.
if that kind of a structure we are talking about, except Dubai, obviously right now I'd support if your project has that kind of a authority money, go to Singapore, Hong Kong. But Hong Kong is a little bit costlier on the licensing
Cool.
side of things. And because of a lot of political affiliations and connectivity of the
Cool.
these things can come into picture if you are a certain nation's
Got it.
founders. But Singapore is a pretty neutral state, pretty stable,
Got
and
it.
regulatory structure is strong, but they have a insane demand of licensing structure. But if you are going through a VARA licensing here, which is enough compliance standard, so I think Singapore would not be a tough. And now Mika, after coming into the market regulations in Europe, becoming the standardized, I think the jurisdiction from a point of view, Poland, Netherlands, and Malta makes sense on a European side. And if you want to go into little low cost setups, offshore jurisdiction like BVI, Bahamas, Bermuda still makes sense. People go a little skeptic when we suggest that you go in those jurisdictions, but because the zero taxation and some of this jurisdiction came out of the gray list of FATF, so those jurisdiction also now makes sense more from an investor side also, because the fund movement previously, because they are grade listed, a lot of the stronger economy didn't want to move the funds because of the money laundering concerns. But now they have out of them, and they have licensing structure much more solid at some times. Like Bahamas, previously FTX was home in Bahamas, but after FTX incident, their licensing structure is quite parallel of the UAE licensing structures. So now that can be a good jurisdiction from a tax.
So, and like, these are the countries other than Dubai. So, like, other than UAE. So, what motivates you to stay in Dubai? Like, let's suppose I'm a Web3 founder, want
Yep.
to go out from India, or let's suppose any country, and wants to come here in Dubai. What would be the five best reason to choose Dubai?
Firstly, here's certain sense of clarity is there from a regulatory side of view.
Okay.
from an investor side of view, from a policy side of things, and from
So you're not in a gray zone. You
not
are
your gray zone. At least you know that I can build this project from here or no. I know the yes or no answer.
Okay.
That clarity helps a founder a lot.
Cool. And
Second, it should be that stability point of view, government stability point of view.
Okay.
Because there is no political unrest. They do not get part into that.
Got it.
Here, economy is always very strong, rigid, and which is growing. And third would be the ecosystem. Because only with license, only with the regulations, and only with money you cannot grow. You need to have the stakeholders, you need to have a lot of other founders who are already in Dubai. So if you go in a weekend and in a cafe and to chill, you'll find 5 other founders with 5 other ideas who are talking about things. So that helps a lot you to be in the moment. And sometimes I've seen in other part of the like jurisdictions, things go out, you become very lonely on building a project. Here you'll find that homely culture, that there are a lot of founders who are trying to build something.
Cool. So you have something
Yeah.
here in Dubai to
Yeah.
stay in Dubai. Like we discuss multiple things,
Yeah.
and like you tell us like how your tool can help the audience and all, what should be the precautions a user should take. Now let's suppose this is your story.
Yeah.
What other stories, or like in your friend circle, you want to know their story also, so that we can invite them, or you can refer them to sit with us, and like you want the world to know their side of stories and all. What could be the 2 or 3 names?
One thing, one name, I will call. This is one of my founder friend. He is probably coming here, next day. His name is Angad. He's building a very cool, interesting project. Obviously, I'm not endorsing his project, but he's building a very good infra level project, which can help a lot of the non-custodial wallet solutions.
Cool.
Yeah. Then another name I can refer, his name is Lavneet Bansal.
Okay.
He was with ZipPay previously. And we started 0x3 consultancy with him only.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a excellent financial professional. He's a chartered accountant himself. So tokenomics and financing side of the projects, he understands much better than me even. So I think this kind of names I prefer.
Cool. So thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah,
For showcasing and sharing this knowledge.
Yeah.
Love to stay connected.
Absolutely.
And, we'll give your like LinkedIn and other stuff in description,
Please.
so people can connect with you.
Sure.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.